the prayer is that the things that we share are what Yah has given us to share predominantly and less of our own personal opinions. Now, you know us, we laugh with y'all, we joke with y'all. A lot of the feedback that we get from you guys that are physically here with us and the people who watch when we repost is that they like that the temperature of how we present and how we engage with you guys. They like that it's relaxed. They like that it's not somebody yelling read or whatever. I'm being funny. Um, and so that's kind of how we keep it. But that doesn't mean that some people watching it don't have a dislike for it. Yeah, some people feel like it's too lax. You know, it's not structured enough. Welcome all of you to Project Wake Up Jacob's YouTube page. Okay. And another edition of Studying Scriptures. I'm Aki Shlomo, and here with the beautiful and lovely and always docile. We are picking up our reading this week in 2 Samuel, 15?
Correct.
Is that right, family? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're 15.
Let me tell y'all something, fam. Eat these scriptures up before this Bible become illegal. It's on its way. On its way to being illegal. They're gonna pull all the Shabbat Shalom. They're gonna pull all the scriptural references and all the videos that talk about scripture. They're gonna pull it all. The Bible's gonna be illegal. It's gonna be illegal to even speak from it. It's coming real soon.
Okay. Did y'all hear all of that, what she said clearly, even though she was flopping that microphone back and forth?
Yeah, they call it a hate speech, sis. They sure is. Did that come through clear, y'all?
Yeah, I heard everything you said.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, this is the times we live in. The SPLC, the ADL, all these activist groups that have these laws on the books determining what is hate speech, like Koti said, what is, I'm gonna just say it, anti-Semitic, because, and the reason why I don't mind saying it is because I'm of the mindset that Farrakhan is, believe it or not. Which is something that I think Kyrie Irving was a little bit nervous to say for whatever reason. It's just probably because he wasn't as well rooted in it. You can't label us as anti-Semitic if we are Semitic. If we are Shemitic people from the line of Shem, then you're gonna have to miss us with that one. You got to find another way, basically. But yeah, they are steady tightening down on those laws and regulations. Go to Kimmy, chapter 16. It sounds like you might have saw the most recent video that that brother Benaiah put out where he was talking about that. Is that right?
Yep, I did. Sure did. About the
What
ADL
title that?
and
Do you
how
remember?
they moving forward to remove all of this stuff off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's well on its way. It's getting ready to just get ready because they already because Tahisha, she was talking about last week how they, the trouble that certain rules having with them pulling their videos and stuff. Man, they well on their way to it. I mean, real soon, like y'all gonna look up and Project Wake Up Jacob page gonna be gone. You know what I'm saying? Real soon. Like grass and hold, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Coach. Grass and hold of this word, eat up these scrolls while it's still legal. Remember the book of Eli, my man didn't need the physical book. He had it here. He had it on his heart. He knew it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is goodness, there was someone with that. I forgot what it was.
Book of Eli?
No. Um spinning off of the documentary that Benaiah did, which by the way, shout out to Benaiah.
He put in that work.
He does a lot of good research and he's cranking those videos out. And some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, but he's cranking them out consistently. And he really does a good job. I really respect that and admire that. And there's other people out there, but very consistent. Truth Unedited, also very consistent. It's another channel I just started following recently. We Woke Now. Good content as well. Shattered Paradise. That's true.
Coach, you're talking about somebody
I think that.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'm sorry, y'all. I think we watched a video about We Woke Now. I think we were discussing it not too long ago. I think Coach Keisha shared it. And it was some stuff in the video that we, kind of had us looking at him a little sideways now. But he did put together some decent information.
Yeah.
So like with anybody, y'all please keep in mind. This is very imperative. With anybody, including us, you know what I'm saying? Abiyah said in his word, he's not gonna give everybody the whole of the matter. This is how he keeps us humble. So I promise you, so when you getting this information from other brews, you know what I'm saying, including us, take the meat, spit out the bones. Because it's some stuff we nail. And I promise you, it's some stuff we off about. And I'm sure it's some brews somewhere like, wait, did they just say, nah, that ain't right? You know what I'm saying? And they present it and they will be right. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, yes, even with Benaiah, it's some stuff I'm just like, bro, what, bro? You know what I'm saying? With all these channels we mentioned, it's just take the meat and spit out the bones.
We are Israel, right? We are Israel. And what you know about Israel, even before you came to the truth, still applies to Israel after you came to the truth. We are wide and varied in our opinions and beliefs. And one of the things that I was trying to point out, even when I was giving my review on the brother formerly known as YAHUSHUA, if y'all saw that review I posted last week, is that part of being humble is keeping the ability to say sometimes I don't know or that I'm not sure. And just because the Most High gives us a platform doesn't mean that everything that we say is going to be 100% accurate. The prayer is that the things that we share are what Yah has given us to share predominantly and less of our own personal opinions. Now, us, we laugh with y'all, we joke with y'all. A lot of the feedback that we get from you guys that are physically here with us and the people who watch when we repost is that they like that the temperature of how we present and how we engage with you guys. They like that it's relaxed. They like that it's not somebody yelling read or whatever. I'm being funny. And so that's kind of how we keep it. But that doesn't mean that some people watching it don't have a dislike for
Have a big
it.
problem.
Yeah, some people feel like it's too lax. You know, it's not structured enough. She talked too much. You know, I let y'all jump in too much. And these are honestly things that I've heard, right? But it is what it is. And so I love that there's so many different channels, YouTube. I love that there's different Patreons, books, that people, Brews are writing books, um, presenting truth as well. I've got some interesting books. You know, these are books written by Brews about Brews coming into the truth. Um, I love that because everybody has a different way of taking in information and learning and understanding and comprehending. So it is what it is. But yeah, anybody that we talk about, you know, and I'm trying not to emphasize what we dis, and I'm not, nothing wrong with what you said, sis. But you won't hear me often emphasize what we disagree on unless it's a big issue. But you will hear us say same thing you said, same thing Rev said. Shoot the meat, spit out the bone.
I promise you, you're gonna find, you know, so there was and I'm not gonna say who it is, so that you know, but there was an who most of his videos, fire. I mean, just complete. You know what I'm saying? The way he speak, he has this very relaxing voice. You know, he's speaking. You just, you know, his videos
Are you talking
are
about me? Is that why you don't want to say?
but his videos are well put together. And you know, I try to catch all his videos, and then he put out a video about when is the Shabbat, and I was like, "Why?" And I try not to be disappointed because you know the thing is, I said what he said. You know what I'm saying? He not gonna give one man it all to keep us humble, and so you know rather than, you know what I'm saying, be like, oh, I'm disappointed, I'm gonna throw away everything he said. You know, no, the videos that he nailed, I share, you know what I'm saying, somebody dealing with a situation and it's one of the videos he nailed, I share his video, like, man, you know, check out this video. This addressed that real good. But I also warned them, like, you know, chew the meat, spit out the bone, you know, you may one of the things, you know, we tend to do is when we find a good video, uh, we'll go and click on all they videos, you know what I'm saying, to try to like eat up, you know, more stuff they got to say or whatever. And then you may find that one video and you like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Except that this is where I draw the line. Non Messianic. So like there was this one I really liked his music, you know what I'm saying? And his earlier music, I could tell he believed in the Messiah because he mentioned the Messiah. But then, you know, so I'm like eating up his music. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm clicking on his videos, you know what I'm saying? And then his later music start start sounding different. Like, you know what I'm saying? He started sounding like, you know what I'm saying? He was speaking down about the Messiah. And then come to find out he not messianic. And that's why I draw the line. I cut it off. I unsubscribed to his channel. I don't download his music no more. That's a cutoff for me. You know.
Yeah, that's a big one as well.
Yeah.
What I find about and I agree, Coach Kim said that's the first lesson she learned when she came into the truth. I find that the people who I've dealt with who don't believe in Yahusha as Messiah, I want to say this practically and diplomatically. Some of them, more than a few, have been disingenuous about what they believe and what they don't believe. Almost in a way that it seems like the goal was to try to pull you in closer and subtly get you to see what they think they see, and then spring it on you. You understand what I'm saying? And so I tend to not even get into those debates. I mean, I don't mind sharing the scriptures on it for someone who's genuinely curious. And we did those videos too. Is Yahushua in the Old Testament? Uh, you know, is Yahushua the Messiah? I'm probably calling that video wrong, but the information is there for people who want to arm themselves with the information. As far as what Yah gave me, we've shared that, but I'm not gonna get into those back and forth. And I'm with Rev. I disconnect.
Yeah, I feel like you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Nah, like I don't want to really hear nothing you gotta say. You know what I'm saying? If you not of the body, you know.
Yeah.
But anybody else? I mean, like it's some IUIC videos that's on point. You know, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's some, you know, and I be like, man, they nailed this. More than GO6. What's several of his videos. I'm like,
Yeah.
he nailed this. He nailed like I watch. We take notes on. You know what I'm saying?
Zabak.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like although I may not agree with everything that they say or 50%, 75%.
Yeah, I may not agree with a lot of what they say, but if I catch a video,
yeah,
and that topic is good, then you know.
I'm like, yeah, that's fine. They brought that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's really the way we treat, you know, all of it. That's why we really encourage y'all to, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, one of the things like we tend to do as brews is we click up and camp up. Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm saying? Whatever, if our teacher ain't teaching it, then it can't be taught. You know what I'm saying? And that's just foolish to me because I mean, y'all ain't gonna give your teacher the whole, like all of it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to, you know, venture out there and you know what I'm saying, to get the whole of the matter. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why these groups encourage people to come up under them and they hoard people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like dragons. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They hoard.
Church there's a word for that in church is lording over people. Yeah. You want to be master over people. Yeah. There's a word for that clicking up. It's called factions.
That sure is.
A Koti Keisha said maybe that's to keep us from putting people on a pedestal. 100%.
I agree.
Shabbat Shalom, Koti Celeste and family. Yeah, I agree 100%. All right, everybody falling in. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And this, you know, sometimes I feel like we overstate it, but I also agree that we can't state it enough that, you know, we are not supposed to put man up on a pedestal. We're not supposed to put our trust in man. Shabbat Shalom, Koti Latasha and family.
Yeah.
Yep, that is the whole of the matter. Okay. Thank you now
then. Thank you.
All right. So we got the monitoring of the social media channels and whatnot. We got the what's current, the Palestinian that somebody said they're using as a smoke screen in order to.
So this is the thing, right? So the big thing is whether or not we got a dog in the race, whether or not to support the different boycotts that's going on, whether or not, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because like people around us see, you know, a real life event, you know, whatever. All I see is smoke screen, all I see is prophecy being fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like to me, like, I mean, it's gonna play out how it play out. You know what I'm saying? Because the most high words ain't gonna fall flat. And so my job is to be ready when that Trump percent. You know what I'm saying? That's why, I mean, I look at the stuff going on and I ain't saying I'm looking at a popcorn or nothing. All I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? I'm being aware because that let me know where we at in prophecy, you know what I'm saying? But in the same sense, you know, that also let me know we don't have time to lose. We don't have time to, because it's wrapping up. It's wrapping up, you know. And I was just talking to Shlomo about that today. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I've been feeling like I'm slipping. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's just not the time to go lax and to become distracted. And I feel like I've been lax and distracted. That's why I say this month, man, that keyboard gonna smoke. Now just ain't the time to go lax. It just ain't the time.
Yeah, I agree. Not about you going lax, but just about it not being the time to go lax.
Yeah.
Coach was right. We're picking up at 16.
Okay.
In addition to that, I find myself over the last couple of weeks and this morning as well, just reviewing and taking some introspective thought as to how we order our Shabbats, which my family will tell you I do that from time to time. We get so busy. Coach Kim said with the distractions. That's exactly what it is. Work, business, leisure, entertainment, and everything else, we find time for. And then by the end of the week, we retire. On the day that Yah said to take a pause, right? Because it's several meanings to Shabbat. Rest is one of them. But another definition for Shabbat is to take a pause from your regularly scheduled activities to do something different, right? And by the time we get to that point where we're supposed to take a pause from those regularly scheduled activities, we so beat up and wore out that we haven't reserved anything for Yah. And I think that's an issue. I think that Yah would probably not be pleased with that if the only thing we're doing is just resting. Studying is important. Fellowshipping is important. These things, we see examples of them being done in Scripture, and we see the benefits of it. If it's important not to have fellowship with the fruitless works of darkness, then by that rationale, it must be important to fellowship with people who are like-minded and can sharpen you and can support you and hold you accountable. 100% accountability. And so if we find ourselves too often, because sometimes solitude is great, but if we find ourselves too often absent from fellowship, it could be, and this is just food for thought, the adversary might be trying to keep you off to the side so that you don't have someone keeping you accountable. I need my family members to say, hey, I think you might be slipping. Yeah. I need my brothers to say, hey, I don't think you was 100% on point with that. My wife, she don't hesitate. She do it all the time. But I need my brothers to do that sometimes too. In love. Yeah. No, I don't disagree. But it is necessary. A code teaches. You have to hold each other accountable. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters. If we're not, Scripture says that if you don't at least tell someone and they fall by the wayside, their blood is then on our hands. If you tell them, you may possibly deliver that being from the fire.
Most importantly, you're covering your own.
CYA. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be saying that, the Most High sent you. Don't be Jonah. Don't be Jonah. The Most High sent you to warn somebody. Because would you want somebody that the Most High was sending to warn you to not, to not come? You know what I'm saying? And you need that. Like, look at David. We just read where, David, being a king that's a great big responsibility. Mm-hmm. You have hundreds of thousands of people bowing to you, telling you how magnificent you are, and yada yada yada. But then being a prophet as well, and being touched by the Most High. And so not only do you have people bowing to you and calling you the king, but you have people telling you you're the anointed, and you have the Most High communicating directly with you. It's easy to lose focus, and start thinking like this. Everything you do is acceptable. It's very easy. And so David got to the point where David seen a woman and was like, if she in my kingdom, I get a right to it. It don't matter if she married or not. Slept with this woman. I know we use him as an example all the time, but look at David. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High sent the prophet to warn David. And you know what I'm saying? Imagine if that prophet never came.
I was telling Red that Daniel's been in my mind recently. And for those of you who read the book of Daniel, you're aware of what I'm saying. But if you have, um, what I think is interesting about the book of Daniel and uh, relates to us in these times is when you watch Daniel and his compatriots, those who were also Israelites, so Jews, with him, that was taken into captivity into Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar. They were the best of the best, right? You guys familiar with that book? Is it Carter G. Woodson, Talented 10? They were the Talented 10 before Carter G. Woodson wrote about the Talented 10, right? They were the best of the best. That's what Nebuchadnezzar wanted. From all of the places who he took from, and then them being educated and in Babylon, he then educated them further still in their ways. Well, Yahuwah put Nebuchadnezzar in rulership. He was in charge. It just was what it was. This wasn't a situation where Israel had the authority in the earth at that time. And even though Babylon was in the authority and Nebuchadnezzar had the power, say that vice versa, whatever, um, they had their ways of worship, their customs, and their practices. And Daniel and his compatriots show us how to operate as a people who are separate from the people whose nation you are in, while not letting go of your customs, your practices, your way of worship. And this was tested. But after this was tested and inscribed in a book to be remembered by nations who would come after Nebuchadnezzar, these people were, after that point, often looked at as a people who would not let go of their worship, no matter who occupied them or in whose captivity they were in. Never fold. I love that. Okay. And so, and would not deny. Yeah. And so I look at that now in the position that we are in, now that we are coming back into ourselves, coming back to our minds. If somebody's out of their mind, come back to your mind. And I look at that as the example. And look at that as the example of how to walk this out, standing firm when it's time to stand firm, being wise when it's time to be wise. You know, when the guard came to Daniel, was like, "Hey, I gotta feed you this food." Daniel was like, "If it's okay." He didn't say off with his head. He didn't say we're gonna take the kingdom right now, because we're time to take the kingdom right now. He understood that position I'm in right now is the position I'm in. If it's okay with you, can you go ask the king, can I just eat these vegetations, these vegetables?
Drink this here water.
And drink this in water.
Not to say Babylon ain't got fine wine.
And here's how important these Jews were to Nebuchadnezzar. The guard said, "No, we can't do that, player, because if you start wasting away, it's going to be a problem for me." And Daniel then came back and said, "Listen, let's try it. If I start to wither or waste away, I'll eat the king's food." And look what I did.
Remain healthy, remain right. You know what I'm saying? And I was asking my husband this morning, I say, because a lot of, our children leave our home and they go away to these universities and things like that. And so I was asking my husband today, I was like,
yeah, I'll take some more water. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, little fella, you on the job. Yeah, this
Good
is
looking
nice.
out.
This ain't a commercial, but y'all had
No, they ain't paying us no money.
Okay.
It's a sparkling water.
Okay. All right, but anyway.
With a sprig of cherry and lime.
It's orange slices.
And some orange slices. Okay. Beautiful.
But
anyway. They ain't paying us. We not getting no endorsement from them. We need one of y'all to come out with some sparkling water. Put it on the camera.
So a lot of our children leave our home when they go to these universities. And you know what I'm saying, they under the pressure of, you know what I'm saying, conforming, you know, in these universities of Babylon. And we was talking about how Daniel left being educated at home in Israel, how he left there and then went to be educated in Babylon. So he went to this Babylonian university, and I was like, you know, did he fold? Did he crumble? You know what I'm saying? And you know, no, Daniel's still strong in that. Daniel, his the talented 10th, talented 3, and 3 of them, 4 of them actually.
To the point that he was willing to risk his life. He was willing to put his life on the line and not bow down when the bell rang, for whom the bell tolls, was Nebuchadnezzar. Remember Nebuchadnezzar put the statue of himself, and the whisperers whispering to Nebuchadnezzar, let's make sure everybody bows down to the statue. And Daniel and them, they didn't even think twice. The bell rang, Daniel went inside the house. Yeah, I do what we do. They wasn't bowing down to the statue and saying that we dubbed this statue a statue of YAHUSHUA, and so we go. We're gonna change this and make this a Yahushua thing.
I know y'all seen the Hebrew Thanksgiving video
with the ham, with the Thanksgiving ham and the full pork.
Yeah, the loin pork, the loin of the pig.
Negro, stop. Anyway, they didn't do that. They stood on principle, right? In the same way, I found it. I know I figured out a way to work this in this conversation. I was talking to our children this morning about the Willie Lynch letter. Our children reread the Willie Lynch letter, and I said, I'm gonna boil this down real short and sweet. I said I find it very interesting and ironic that during the days of slavery, niggas was getting beat and told don't read. Whereas today we got to beat our children to read. I said to my children, because it's like pulling teeth sometimes, these people were dying for the ability to read because they thought that there may be something in that book that may be a key to their freedom. They were dying to read. And now we live in a situation because one of my middle boys said, I found it was interesting that, you know, the things that was laid out in the letter still hold true today. You could still say niggas don't read today, and it holds true.
But it's like those sources that I'm saying, you know, if you implement what I'm telling you in the way that I'm telling you, this will stick for hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even got a word. It's going to stick to them curses out. I promise you. And probably well after, you know.
Perpetually.
This is a, when I move this, do you think it's out? It's out.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right, family. We're going to stop rambling.
This is Kodesh Conversation. And so we conversate. You know, if we wasn't conversating, and the I King would all pile up on his head. Because they'd be like, you letting that woman speak outside of a casual conversation? And we don't even know about what we feel about you letting her speak in a conversation. Yeah. We don't know about you letting her speak. Muffle your way, she'll let us continue.
Don't get that smoke. I'm all for the smoke. All right.
All right.
But yeah, that's it. I agree, and you were saying um that the pressures in the institutions, and I don't think it's just in the higher learning institutions. I think it's in grade school and high school as well. One of the things I was talking to them about is there was a brother who did a study, and then he used to actually go and do these speeches. I think I want to say like in the 80s. Um, I will post a link to his video because he did a really good breakdown about the peer pressure in the Black youth community. And y'all remember this, how in school, at some point in your educational, your formative years, some people started pushing the agenda that it wasn't as cool to be as smart as the other children. Um, and I think that we were the only ones that were susceptible to that. Hebrews. And some of us persevered anyway, and some people fell prey.
It's because of the sorcery. So
I agree.
with the movies we was watching, the other nation of people in the movies, their representatives, they were, Sweet Valley High, and you know what I'm saying? And so they were being encouraged to be the best and the brightest. And that's what makes, you know what I'm saying, while we was being fed Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood and you know what I'm saying, uh don't sip your gin while drinking gin in the hood, your juice, gin and juice. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? While we were being fed these things, they were being fed, you know, all they you know what I'm saying? It was the spell.
Brother gave me this book for my children to read. I skimmed through it the other day. This is the book that Aki Samuel gave us for Malik.
Oh.
Malik, did you finish reading this book?
I thought Malik gave that to the boys.
Malik left it. Did you finish it? If you guys get an opportunity, pick that up. Really good. Talks about what she was just talking about as far as how media, ever since Birth of a Nation, and even prior to that, has been very influential in how we look at ourselves in comparison to how other people look at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Great read. Good deal. Did I read it too, or just you? I did it
even,
read.
Even in the music, I remember one year back in the 90s, I was watching that video. They say that a hero could save us. I'm not gonna stand here. Y'all remember that video? And like right behind that video,
shaking something.
Yeah, came on. And I thought to myself,
another video of somebody shaking.
The first video they showed, that was the soundtrack to Spider-Man. So they showed like this white guy saving his white girl. But I'm talking about, and in the very next video, it was a show like Hebrew something. I want to say, was it money before? Huh? But in the very next video, it showed like, you know what I'm saying, Hebrew men hoeing out their women and saying how they women don't mean nothing to them. And I just was like,
yeah, death culture is the term to remember for us. Death culture, drugs, overindulgence in alcohol, killing, prostitution.
Keeping us divided as keeping the Hebrew man and the Hebrew woman divided. That's so important. Like they have to do that. Like if they mess around and they get it so that Hebrew women are back depending on their men and they men actually making things happen for their women and that connection happen and that threefold connection happen. Who know about that threefold? Raise your hand if you know about that threefold. You know about the threefold, Shorty? What's the threefold? Cause you was just jiving.
Threefold strand is
That-
not easily broken.
You know what I'm saying? And that threefold strand, they know they in trouble then. They know they in trouble, man. Set up.
Yeah. All right, fam, let's jump on into this. So 2 Samuel and chapter 16.
Okay.
As you guys can hear, Coach review, right?
Can y'all hear me good? Can I get a 7 if I can be hard?
I'll turn the screen off
Ooh. Listen, y'all, look.
because she ain't speaking up. No, I'm joking.
Look, y'all.
I'm taking the field.
Turn the screen off.
Okay,
Okay. Y'all, that was just a joke. Please don't send nobody to my house to come get my man, because I will get violent to touch my man. Okay. All right, here we go. And Dawid had passed on a little from the summit and saw Tishba, the servant of Melchizedek, who met him, Mephibosheth, but she said, I just want to see that, baby. Okay. Who met him with a couple of saddled donkeys, and on them 200 loaves, and 100 cakes of raisins, and 100 summer fruit, and a skin of wine. And the sovereign said to Seba, why do you have these? And Seba said, the donkeys are for the sovereign's household to ride on, and the bread and the summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine for the weary to drink in the wilderness. And the sovereign said, and where is the son of your master? And Seba said to the sovereign, see, he remains in Jerusalem. For he said, today the house of Israel is going to return the reign of my father to me. And the sovereign said to Seba, see, all that belongs to Mephibosheth is yours. And Seba said, I have bowed myself. Let me find favor in your eyes, my master, O sovereign. And when Sovereign Dawid came to Bahurim, he saw a man from the clan of the house of Shaul, whose name was Shema, son of Gera, coming from there. He came out cursing as he came, and he threw Dawid with stones. And all the servants of the sovereign Dawid, and all the people and all the mighty men were on his right and on his left. And this is what Shema said as he cursed. Get out, O man of blood, and man of Belial. Yahuwah has brought upon you all the blood of the house of Shaul, in whose place you have reigned. And Yah has given the reign into the hand of Absalom, your son. And see, you are in your evil, your own evil, for you are a man of blood. And Abishai, son of Zuriah, said to the sovereign, why should this dead dog curse my master, the sovereign? Please let me pass over and take off his head. Now listen to what Dawid said, because this is profound. He says, and the sovereign said to him, what have I to do with you, you sons of Zuriah? For let him curse, even because Yahuwah has said to him, curse Dawid. Who should say, why did you do that? And Dawid said to Abishai and all his servants, see how my son, who came from my own body, seeks my life, and how much more now than this Benjamite. Leave him alone. Let him curse, for Yahuwah has spoken to him. If so be, Yahuwah does look on my affliction, and Yahuwah shall return good to me for his cursing today. So Dawid knew that he was paying for his sins. He knew, and maybe not for the loss of the house of Shaul, but he knew that this was happening to him because of what he did. Because of what he did. That was a huge sin he did, you know. And as Dawid and his men went in the way, Shema walked alongside him on the hillside and cursed him as he went, and threw stones at him and kicked up dust. And the sovereign and all the people who were there with him became weary, and they refreshed themselves there. And Absalom and all the people, the men of Israel, came to Jerusalem and Ahithophel was with him. And it came to be when Hushi, the Archite, the friend of David, had come to Absalom, that Hushai said to Absalom, "Let the sovereign live, let the sovereign live." And Absalom said to Hushai, "Is this your loving commitment to your friend? Is this your loving commitment to your friend? Why did you not go with your father, with my father, or with your father, with your friend?" So he asked him, like, what happened to your loyalty to my dad? I thought you was, all about that life. And Hushi said to Absalom, "No, I am for the one whom Yahuwah and these people and all the men of Israel have chosen, and with him I remain."
A covert operation.
King.
It's like what's the spy shows I watch?
Oh, you're killing me with the spy shows. Oh my goodness. And Absalom said to Ahithophel, "Give your advice. What should we do?" And Ahithophel said to Absalom, "Go into your father's concubine, whom he has left to look after the house. And all Israel shall hear that you have made yourself a stench to your father, and the hands of all who are with you shall be strong." So they pitched a tent for Absalom on the top of the house, and Absalom went into his father's concubines before before the eyes of all Israel. Now the advice of Ahithophel gave in those days was as if one had inquired at the word of Yahuwah. So was all the advice of Ahithophel, both to David and to Absalom.
So in other words, yes, it said in front of everybody. Not that the tent was open. I don't get that the tent was open, but it does sound like they made a show.
Yeah, he let it be known.
He wanted to be known, and maybe was bringing them in front of everybody, and
he wasn't handling that business in front of everybody.
A few days in a row. This day he let it be seen that this concubine came in. This day he let it be seen that that concubine came in.
Coming out the tent like, whoo. Next.
I don't know if I got that. But yeah, Ahithophel was in essence speaking for Yahuwah, whether it was to David or whether it was to Absalom in that time. So picking up in chapter 17. And Ahithophel said to Absalom, "Please, let me choose 12,000 men and let me arise and pursue David tonight and come upon him while he is weary and weak, and I shall make him afraid, and all the people who are with him shall flee. And I shall strike the sovereign alone and bring back all the people to you. When all return except the man whom you seek, all the people should be at peace." And the saying pleased Absalom and all the elders of Israel. But Absalom said, "Now call Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear what he says too, because he's speaking for Yah. Let me see what advice he has." And Hushai came to Absalom, and Absalom spoke to him, saying, "Ahithophel has spoken according to this word. Should we do as he says? If not, speak up." And Hushai said to Absalom, "The advice that Ahithophel has given is not good at this time." And Hushai said, "You know your father and his men, that they are mighty men, and that they are as bitter in being as a bear robbed of her cubs in the field. And your father is a man of battle, and would not spend the night with the people." Pause for a second. First of all, that's rough. That's somebody that has been hardened in battle.
He like, listen, your father is a fool.
Yeah, these are people who eat and sleep and live and breathe for battle.
When that man was telling him he got bloody hands, then he a man of blood, he ain't lying. David was a man of blood.
When he felt like his son was coming at him, and he told his people, "We gonna go to the mats," Basically, we gonna go out where they can't find us. It was nothing to him to leave the comfort and the beauty of the castle that he built and all of its finery and go back to a tent and live off the land. Is like, this what I do. I also thought about Ima. I know you're gonna watch this. The question you posted about the last reading we had, where it said, "Yah made Dawid like the mighty men of old," and I thought that was a really good question. Um, and my response to her in the chat was, when we read about the mighty men of old in Genesis 6, it is talking about men who were great. It is often talking about the giants. It is often talking about the men who had, I'm going to say, superpowers, because these were seeds of the Nephilim, right? These men would have been rulers in their day, because who was going to tell them they couldn't be, right? And so Yah took from among Israel and lifted up one of his own and said, I'm going to make you like the mighty men of old. Yes, I think that's what he was saying. I think in what we read, he was saying, Dawid is going to be about that life, whether it's Nephilim, whether it's humans, whether it's whatever. If I need to send Dawid at him, Dawid will be capable of taking care. He wasn't the first, although it said that about Dawid. We read Abraham, we read Judah. If you read the book of Jasher, you read great detail about the battles of, and it was an ongoing thing. It was a back and forth between the children of Ishmael and the children of Israel. If you didn't know, Ishmael had 12 sons. Huh? Esau and Ishmael. So if you read the book of Jasher, you read about the wars between Israel and Esau, and you also read about the wars between Israel and Ishmael, if I'm not mistaken. That was just one instance. Yeah. And then they started battling all the Canaanites. All the Canaanite kings have come at them. Yeah. And they was battling one Canaanite king after the other. Yeah, that's true. You know, but in addition to that, these Edomites that were around the area also came and joined in, and the Moabites. Remember, it was Jacob's brother that his son said, we can't kill him. You got to do it. That Jacob drew that bow and shot him down from a distance. I say he was just like you. We can't do it. Yep. I just don't know that about Esau. Yep. A lot of people assume that Esau was this completely different. You know what I'm saying? Esau and Jacob was twins. They were twins. Absolutely. They were twins. Yeah. And so I thought about that again, because it called this man bitter as a bear in the wilderness. And I think that I don't know, Hushai might have saved his life at that moment. We'll see what happens next. But this is was Athipel serious? You know, Athipel, did Athipel turn against David, or is he intentionally giving him bad advice? Not to go against David. Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't go with this time. Yeah, he is giving him bad advice. Is it like going to your father? Well, he's giving him the word of Yah from what we read. Yeah. Yah is directing this and orchestrating this thing. But David did pray that his exactly. His advisor gave him bad advice. Yep. 100%. So even though it says that he was speaking in verse 23 of 16, even though it says the advice of Ahithophel was as if one had inquired of the word of Yahuwah to both David and Absalom, even if it was information that caused Absalom's demise, it is still saying that this was from Yahuwah. Okay. So he says in verse 8, You know your father and his men. They are mighty men. They are bitter in being as a bear robbed of her cubs in the field. And your father is a man of battle and would not spend the night with people. See, by now he is hidden in some pit or in some place. And it shall be when some of them fall at the first, that whoever hears it, shall say, there's been a slaughter among the people who are following Absalom. And even he who is brave, whose heart is like the heart of a lion, would utterly melt. For all Israel knows that your father is a mighty man, and those who are with him are brave men. But I advise, let all Israel without fail be gathered to you, from Dan to Beersheba, as numerous as the sand by the sea, and that you yourself go to battle. You yourself go to battle. There we go. And we shall come upon him in some place where he is found, and fall on him as the dew falls on the ground. And there shall be left of him and of all the men with him, not even one.
Who gave the bad advice?
Yeah, don't send nobody. You got to go yourself. And if he withdraws into a city, then all Israel shall bring ropes to that city. Like Samson, huh? And we shall pull it into the wadi until there is not one small stone found there. You're going to pull the city into the river. Huh? Absalom and all his men and all the men of Israel then said, the advice of Hushai the Archite is better than the advice of Ahithophel. And Yahuwah had ordained to nullify the good advice of Ahithophel for the sake of Yahuwah bringing evil upon Absalom. Hushai then said to Zadok and to Abiathar the priests, Ahithophel has advised Absalom and the elders of Israel such and such, but I have advised him so and so. Did they just yada yada that?
Yeah.
I advise him such and such. He advised him such and such, but I advise him so and so. And now send hastily and inform Dawid, saying, do not spend this night in the desert plains of the wilderness, but pass over without fail, lest the sovereign and all the people with him be swallowed up. And Jehonathon, and Ahimaaz were stationed in Rogel. And a female servant will come and inform them, and they will go and inform sovereign Dawid, for they could not be seen entering the city. But a youth saw them and informed Absalom. So the two of them went away at once and came to a man's house in Bahurim, who had a well in the courtyard, and they went down into it. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth and spread ground grain on it, so the matter was not known. And the servants of Absalom came to the woman at the house and said, where are Ahimaaz and Jehonathon? And the woman said to them, they have passed over the stream of water. And they looked and did not find them, and returned to Jerusalem. And it came to be, after they left, they came up out of the well and went and informed sovereign Dawid, and said to Dawid, arise, pass over the water quickly, for thus Ahithophel has advised against you. And Dawid and all the people who were with him rose up and passed over the Jordan. And by morning light, not even one remained who had not gone over the Jordan. And Ahithophel saw that his advice was not followed. So he saddled his donkey and rose up and went home to his house, to his city. Then he gave command to his house and hanged himself in a cloud. And he was buried in his father's burial site. And Dawid came to Mahanaim. And Absalom passed over the Jordan, and he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom appointed Amasa over the army instead of Joab. Now, excuse me, Slakia. Now Amasa was the son of a man whose name was Yithra, a Yisraelite. I don't like how they add that in there. Who had gone in to Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister of Zuriah, Joab's mother. daughter of Nahash, sister of Zeruiah. I think so.
Yeah, Abigail was the wife of the fool that David brought at work and they were paid, right?
And it came to be when Dawid had come to Mahanaim that Shobi, son of Nahash, from Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and Machir, son of Amiel, from Lodebar, and Barzillai, the Gileadite, from Rogelim, brought beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and barley and flour and roasted grain and beans and lentils and parched vegetables and honey and curds and sheep and cheese of the herd for Dawid and for the people who were with him to eat. For they said, the people are hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. Remember, Dawid had a league with them for a while. So 17.
Okay. And
Read with us.
dang.
We are at 2 Samuel, starting at chapter 18.
Okay. And David mustered the people who were with him and set commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds over them. And David sent out 1/3 of the people under the hand of Joab, and 1/3 under the hand of Abishai, son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, and 1/3 under the hand of Ittai the Gittite. And the sovereign said to the people, I shall certainly go out with you too. But the people answered, do not go out, for if we flee away, they would not set heart upon us, even if half of us die. They would not set heart upon us. For now, 10,000 are like us. Therefore, it is better for you to support us from the city. And the sovereign says to them, that which is good in your eyes I shall do. And the sovereign stood beside the gate, and all the people went out by hundreds and by thousands. And the sovereign ordered Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, be gentle with the young man, Absalom, for my sake. And all the people heard when the sovereign gave all the commanders orders concerning Absalom.
There you go. That's that weakness of the father for his son.
I mean,
You know what his son trying to do. Like,
be gentle with my kid. Do not kill my child. Don't kill my child.
snatch him up, bring him up.
Don't kill my child. So the people went out into the field to meet Israel, and the battle was in the forest of Ephraim. And the people of Israel were smitten, therefore, before the servants of David. And the slaughter there that day was great, 20,000. And the battle there was scattered over the face of all the land, and the forest devoured more people that day than a sword devoured. Wow. So it said that the forest devoured more people that day than the sword. How is that possible?
And think about what happened in places like Vietnam, where people died of dysentery and gangrene, had people's legs getting cut off, and all kind of different stuff. Like, people think that y'all ain't in control of these types of things.
So like quicksand and raging rivers and
Getting cut by stuff that infects and then causes you to die.
wild animals.
Not being able to eat or sustain yourself over a period of time. Not being able to get good water to drink. Like half of battle is supplies.
Because we see that this is gonna happen again. Scripture saying in Revelations that when a woman flees, then y'all gonna cause the earth to, to defeat a good amount of
It
those.
says that the dragon spewed out a raging river and the earth swallows
it up.
Speaking of Revelations came.
You know what I'm saying? So
that, but that's just
that spew out that raging river, you know what that means. River water always represent people. And so the hordes of the dragon gonna go forth and the earth gonna defeat a lot of those people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
So bring your swords.
I know.
Bring your swords.
And then Absalom met the servants of David. Absalom was riding on a mule, And the mule went under a thick branches of a great terebinth tree. And his head caught hold of the terebinth. Remember, he had all that hair, y'all. Remember, they say Absalom hair was
probably more than man does.
Had to put it up, you know what I'm saying? You know it was in one of the man buns. See what happened. And he was suspended between the heavens and the earth while the mule, which was under him, passed on. So the tree snatched him up. He got snatched up by the tree. Because remember, we see that the forest is helping. So Abiyah's causing the forest to help. And you know, real quick.
And you see Dawid was doing his spirit son.
Yeah.
And God took it out of his hand.
Yeah. But remember in the book, in Lord of the Rings, how the trees was helping fight, you know what I'm saying? I believe it's legitimate, but the sequel seek to facts.
Yes.
And
we're gonna put the word on the screen.
you can't help yourself. And a certain man saw it and informed Joab and said, "Look, I saw Absalom hanging in a terebinth tree." And Joab said to the man who informed him, "Now look, you saw, and why didn't you strike him to the earth there? Then I would have given you 10 pieces of silver and a belt." But the man answered Joab, though I were to receive 1,000 pieces of silver in my hand, I would not raise my hand against the son of the sovereign, because in our hearing the sovereign commanded you and Abishai and Ittai, saying, "Take heed, you who go against the youth, against Absalom. Otherwise, I would have been untrue to my own life." He won't lie to the sovereign, you know. For no matter is hidden from the sovereign, and you yourself would have set yourself against me. He's like, you yourself would have killed me had I done that. And Joab said, "Let me not waste time here with you," for he messed around and get that man bun loose. And he took 3 spears in his hand, and he thrust them through Absalom's heart. Dang. While he was still alive in the midst of the terebinth tree. And 10 young men who bore Joab's armor went around and struck Absalom and put him to death. And Joab blew with the shofar, and the people returned from pursuing Israel, for Joab had held the people back. And they took Absalom and they threw him into a large pit in the forest, and heaped a very large pile of stones over him. And all Israel fled, each one to his tent.
They knew they had done something. So Absalom, and one of the things that he was most proud of is what was part of his demise.
He was so proud of his hair. Like, that was one of the things that gave him strength. Yeah, he was pretty. He was gorgeous. He was a gorgeous man.
Gorgeous.
He was gorgeous.
Okay.
He said he ain't have to do him like that. Sheesh. 3 spears to the heart. That wasn't enough. Then they all took turns.
And Absalom in his lifetime had taken and set up a monument for himself.
My goodness.
Which is in the valley, in the Sovereign's Valley, in the King's Valley.
It's still there, y'all. Y'all can look it up.
For he said, "I have no son to keep my name in remembrance." And he called the monument after his own name. And to this day, it is called Absalom's monument.
To this day.
And Ahimaaz, son of Zadok, said, "Please let me run and take the news to the sovereign, for Yahuwah has avenged him of his enemies." But Joab said, "Don't you do that. You are not the man to take the news today, but you shall take the news another day. But today, you do not take the news, because the sovereign's son is dead."
We gotta be gentle with this. You know how crazy that guy.
And Joab said to the Cushite, "Go inform the sovereign what you have seen." And the Cushite bowed himself to Joab and ran. And Ahimaaz, son of Zadok, said again to Joab, "And whatever might be, please, let me also run after the Cushite." And Joab said, "Why would you run, my son? There is no news to bring you reward." And whatever might be, he said, let me run. So that he said to him, run. And Ahimaaz ran by the way of the plain and passed the Cushite. Now Dawid was sitting between the two gates, and the watchman went up to the roof over the gate to the wall and lifted his eyes and looked and saw a man running alone. So the watchman called out and told the sovereign. And the sovereign said, if he is alone, there is news in his mouth. And he came nearer and nearer. And the watchman saw another man running. And the watchman called to the gatekeeper and said, see, a man running by himself. And the sovereign said, this one is also bringing news. He was spiritual. And the watchman said, I see the running of the first is like the running of Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok.
The watchman was spiritual.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you the background. Pause for a little humor. Give me 1 second. Me and Red were in Jamaica. We're on the elevator in the eye of a storm, Hurricane D. We get on the elevator, and it's a older Jamaican guy. Somebody's holding his arm because he's blind. I think his eyes are dim. I don't think he's blind, but he's got that blue, like opaque blue with a light ring around the iris.
Yeah.
And there's a lady on the elevator as well, holding the baby. Go ahead. I know you want to tell me. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You the storyteller.
Hey, this is true.
I just want you to say I butchered it. Go ahead.
First of all, the baby, you can tell he a big dude because he got like a staff in his hand. You know what I'm saying? He's an actor. You know, his staff got something on it, you know, all kind of trinkets.
He dressed.
He dressed in some kind of kingly garb, you know what I'm saying? And the woman who holding him is kind of like, kind of bow to him a little bit. So he a big deal. So we get it, right? Mm-hmm. So a young lady step in the elevator holding the baby. Okay. Your baby got wrapped up in a blue blanket. Got a little blue hat, got a little blue beanie, you know what I'm saying?
Sticking out.
Little blue footies sticking out. So the man look at the baby. And he say, it's a boy, huh? So the lady say, yeah, it's a boy. It's like, how did you know? The man says, I'm spiritual.
And then look at everybody else in the elevator. So that we could be amazed.
I'm looking like it's a blue blanket. But it's not him. It was him that almost got me because Solomon was like.
So that's the running joke in the house.
Yeah, so when you hear us saying spiritual, you know what I'm saying? It's when somebody state the obvious, but they be like, I'm spiritual,
Now, don't get me twisted. Dawid was spiritual.
Dawid was spiritual.
Don't get me twisted, you two. But yeah. So he says, yeah, I see the man running. Looks like the running of, was it Absalom? I lose my place.
No, wait. I think you're on.
Oh, 27. I see the running of the first is like the running of Ahimaaz, son of Zadok. Yeah. And the sovereign said, this is a good man. He comes with good news. And Ahimaaz called out and said to the sovereign, peace, or shalom. Then he bowed down with his face to the earth before the sovereign and said, blessed be YAHUSHUA, your Elohim, who has surrendered the men who raised their hands against my master, the sovereign. And the sovereign said, peace to you, or peace to the young man. I apologize. And the sovereign said, peace to the young man, to Absalom. To Absalom? I'm butchering it. Start that over. I apologize. And the sovereign said, peace to the young man, to Absalom. And Ahimaaz answered, when Joab sent the sovereign's servant and me, your servant, I saw a great crowd, but I did not know why. And the sovereign said, turn aside and stand here. And he turned aside and stood still. And see, the Cushite came And the Cushite said, receive news, my master, the sovereign, for Yahuwah has avenged you this day of all who rose against you. And the sovereign said to the Cushite, peace to the young man, to Absalom. And the Cushite answered, let the enemies of my master, the sovereign, and all who rise against you for evil be as that young man is. And the sovereign was shaken and went up to the room over the gate and wept. And as he went, he said this, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, if only I had died instead of you, O Absalom, my son, my son.
Still his child, man. That's still his child. Like you, still my child. You know, I could have, you know what I'm saying? Like, had John brought him to me, I could have, like, you know, hit him in the mouth or something, but, you know,
Don't hit him in the
that's
mouth,
my
boy,
child.
like
Don't kill my child.
Again, we talked about last week how much this reminds me, and I would have to say that these Romans probably stole some of this from this, because what did Marlon Brando say? Marlon Brando.
The guy.
When Sonny was killed, we were making the reference last week. Remember?
Yeah, that's a bad that trick.
What did he say? He said, my boy. Look what they did to my beautiful boy. He called his boy beautiful. Look what they did to my beautiful boy.
He was weak.
No, Sonny wasn't weak. Sonny was a man of war.
He was weak. He was a hothead.
Well, he was a hothead, but he wasn't weak.
And that's what brother was telling them, man. You can't see the whole, you flout.
Yeah, but the weak one was Fredo. He wasn't
Fredo was.
Yeah. Not have this debate today. No,
I know, because I don't know. I watched it once and shall not watch it again.
Yeah, Color Purple.
Did you even watch it once, though? Did you even watch the
I
Color
watched
Purple
it
once?
more than once.
No, you did. No, you went to sleep. I remember. It was 20 years ago, but I remember like it was yesterday.
Like Coach Kimmy said, we moving right along, family. 18. Next week, moving on to chapter 19. In this studying scripture series. Good stuff, family.
Good stuff.
Good meat. Do y'all have comments on what we read? I want to talk about it a little bit. Anything? Add anything to it? As my brother Yak and I say, want to add a little meat on that sandwich?
The lettuce on the sandwich? The mayonnaise?
Good bread, can't you see? I agree. Listen, the blessing is having the ability, meaning y'all still giving us the breath of life to come and do this every week, because there's another option.
And I mean, and like I told y'all earlier, one day you're gonna turn it on. We ain't gonna be here. I'm telling you, that ain't coming soon. It's some things changing in Parliament. It's some things changing. Like it's sort like the world is swiftly changing.
Things that are coming up as we signing off. We are going to start putting together a series where we're reading through some of Josephus.
Yes.
So look for that. And before that, because I got a list of things that I need to clear off, including getting to the next part of the Seeking the Priesthood series. Me and Red were sitting up talking one day about the prophecy that was revealed to Daniel when Nebuchadnezzar asked him to interpret his dream. And we often talk about the feet that were mixed partially with iron and mixed with clay, and what that means. And we had a good discussion, and it turned into looking and seeking some scriptures, and I believe that Yah revealed something to me. And I took some notes on it, like I said in the last video, scribbled a few things down, and I'm going to present that. So look for that as well, coming up soon. a Coke tea. Sure.
We are also going to be introducing the scriptural reference branch of Jewish clarification. So,
That's what I was saying about Joseph's.
yeah, but like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Putting the Brew-esqueness back in Brew-esqueness.
Okay, Coach Tasha. Shalom.
Oh no, it was Shalom. It was two things. The first one when y'all was talking about like the music and stuff, and I think when I was younger back in the 90s, what changed in our community was when Luke came out. Y'all remember Luke?
Oh girl,
And he
yes.
had like the girls and stuff. That's when like when I was younger and I used to see like the older girls and they like the whole thing started changing the way they would walk around in the neighborhood with the shorts and tank tops and stuff like that on. And I couldn't understand. I could not understand it. Like, why are they showing themselves like that? But then I start looking at the music videos and seeing certain things, and I'm just like, oh, so they was mimicking. And like y'all said, they put certain things, like they put certain videos out there for this group, and then they put videos out there for that group, and it just was like a whole nother type of world. Because I was used to listening to like with my grandma and them, like Reba McEntire and stuff like that, and they always fully clothed.
Yeah.
And then when you look at videos like Luke and them,
you look young, Cole, but you don't remember Salt and Pepper, do you? Salt and Pepper was the one. Yeah. Now Salt and Pepper was the ones who really just they changed the game with that push it.
They changed.
I remember that video like.
Yeah. And they had on them little short leather shorts. Yes.
Yeah, bro. And they were, mimicking compilation on stage and the words they were saying in their song. And I can remember thinking, and you remember it? Everybody went around pushing it.
Yeah, saying push it.
The interesting thing about
and doing the beat of the thing. That beat.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about that too is because we got to tie it in as far as who was allowing these things to be pushed to the forefront of our music. Who was in charge of Sony? Who was in charge of Capitol? Who was in charge of Paramount? Right? So we'll say the Red Media or the Ish or the 293, however you want to place it. So this is one of those things where in order for the talented 10th of our era, in order to make it and be the token example of how our people can make money and be famous, follow what they do. But what did they allow them to do? There's interviews with people of that same generation who talk about what their music was like, and the interviews and the conversations they had with the A&Rs and the people in charge of releasing the music, and they tell them they can't release this music. They must release that music. There's conversations with people who talk about, the problem with it being okay to say, I'm a killer nigger on track, but as soon as you say, F the police, shut it down. Well, this is dangerous to police because people will go out there listening to that because words have power and there's spirit attached to these things. People will go out there, they'll listen to that, and they'll be thinking that when they're encountering these police. Oh, yeah, exactly. Just like when I bet you won't hit an MFer come on in the club with you in nothing but brews, you are in the mindset of violence and agitation. I know I was one of those people at that age, right? This is spiritual. This is sorcery.
You got one like it's visual saying. You could say I'm a killer N word, or I'm a killer ooish word. One of them are bad, one of them is cool. One of them gets you a Grammy, and one of them gets you canceled.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you got people our people, as long as you agree to say you're gonna kill an N-word, you man, you gonna get paid, you're gonna get, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as what Kanye saying, every song, you know what I'm saying? He can say, yeah, he can say whatever he want to say about our people and our struggle. But as soon as he said something about red media, my man went from being a billionaire to a millionaire in minutes.
Yeah, take what they still say. Took the chain.
Had to tuck his chain. You know what I'm saying? That's right.
That is.
That, you know what I'm saying? Hey, and if you ever want to know who truly holds the hand, who truly holds the power
in this world, where the devil holds
yeah.
power. Yes, sir.
And then it made me think of I think you posted it a while ago, that photo with Chris Brown standing on the hill, standing on the feet.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I was thinking of it, I'm like, people don't even realize it or see it. They just say like, oh, that's that's artistry. He's standing on his own feet. Or I think somebody in one of the other comments that posted the picture that wasn't aware had posted the picture, and she was saying like he's standing on his own 2 feet or something like that. And I'm like, if she only like and I know some people, they read the Bible and they don't see it or get it, but I'm like, if she only asked for discernment so she could understand where we at in this world,
some people ain't gonna get
if she could just see it,
yeah,
and not just see it like, oh, that's just artwork.
Yeah, I thought the image clearly had the head of one of the beasts.
It had the feet, but from the feet to the leg, you can see where it was like different material. So it's like the feet was one like metal or whatever, and then the leg was like another, you know, since you can see, and then like the ankle was separating, because remember say that the stone that the builders refused to break away, and it hit it at the ankle, and that's where yeah. And so the ankle, you can see that the ankle was clearly like separated or whatever. And he kind of like pointing to it, but pointing down at the same time. And so doing the so below is above thing, yeah. That Baphomet dude, he doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think that you're right. They do. That's one of their Kabbalistic rituals, is to tell you what they're doing.
Yeah. And then when we talk about Epsilon Monument, I had just looked it up, and they say they still worship at Epsilon Tomb to this day. They go there to worship. Like it's a place of worship right now to this day in Jerusalem.
Remember Joab kept his body from being buried there. Now his body would have been buried there. His body would have still been there to this day. But you remember what scripture say Joab them did with the body? They
threw it
in a trench and piled it high with stones. So that's what kept his body from being there. But he made the monument because he just had a sense. He had a sense that I did something great today. I defeated King David. You know what I'm saying? And I know some telling me, yeah, I ain't gonna last long, but I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered for what I did. And he created that monument, and it still stands. David's shame still stands to this day. So I mean, if you think King David did not pay for what he did, oh, he paid. He paid. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, you know, use him going through that and him being forgiven, or him doing that and him being forgiven as an excuse to continue to do their filth. But King David paid. To this day, his shame still stands. To this day.
To this day. And I think somebody always say, he, like you said, he blameless and stuff. I said, yeah, because he always knew when he was wrong, he repented, but that doesn't mean he wasn't punished.
Yep.
That does not mean that.
Yep.
And I think they skipped that part.
Yeah. Forgiveness don't mean that you don't still have to accept punishment for your crime.
Yeah. So how many sons is that he lost? Absalom, the other son that raped his daughter because she was raped by her own brother. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna read King Shlomo gonna come through and just clean house. You know what I'm saying?
Adoniah, he killed Adonai, or Adoniah, how you say his name?
Uh,
Yep.
uh,
So he lost a good amount of his lineage that didn't carry on.
and that's what the prophet told him. Like your children gonna die, bro. Because of what
Yeah.
you.
All right, family. Good deal.
Oh, yep, the baby. Yep, the baby that Bathsheba had. Sure did, Coach Kimmy. You right,
Yeah, that punishment kept on giving.
man. Like David paid for that all the way up to the end. He paid for that.
And I want y'all also to think about the things that David going through now when we read through Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you read that, you're not still dealing with reading exactly what's going on, but he writes about it in his poetry and in his songs.
Yeah.
He writes about his feelings about all of it. He writes about his lamentations and his woes and his calling out, all that, physically and spiritually. Because some of the times you can see that he's writing about physical adversaries, and sometimes you can clearly read that it feels like he's writing about spiritual adversaries.
Coach he said, and it makes me think of Jacob's trouble too. Before Dawid got to rest and not see war, he went to so much tribulation. He did. He was a man of blood, like what what the servant was saying to him. Dawid was a man of blood. Like you see, his first instincts was to kill that woman's husband, and in such a way, you know what I'm saying? He was a man of blood. When Abigail's first husband wasn't gonna feed him or wasn't gonna, you know what I'm saying? He's violent. He's violent. He's a violent man.
And Yahuwah said he's a man after my own heart.
Yeah.
So what that means?
You see what Whatchacall told him about his father. He like, man, you dealing with goons, man. What's wrong with you? Be wise, bro. Mm-hmm. And you're right. I mean, I called him a man after my own. I like that guy.
Okay.
Coach Celeste says, "Oh, could we please go over 2024 holidays to make sure our calendars are correct?" The feast days. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can do that. As I said, we'll probably go ahead and do that every year.
Yeah.
Before spring sometime. So I'm not sure when, but we'll let you know in advance.
Oh yes, I need to do that. Okay. Everybody buy your calendars for next year, get them ready.
So eventually what's gonna happen is I'm gonna turn that over to either Menelik or Indigo. Because the goal is education, and the way that I understand.
Kimmy said Indigo would be a great.
You say no, let Indigo do it, huh? No, Menelik gave a thumbs up. I think he on Anaya's iPhone.
That could be not. How we know it's Menelik?
Anaya got it, huh? Yeah, so I'm able to understand that they got it when they're able to also share information.
Got her calendar marked out already. Natasha's always ahead of time.
It's late.
It's Lily. It's called Little League.
Little League. Mini-me. I used to call it mini-me.
Mini-me.
Okay, but yeah, we will do that. Absolutely. Actually,
I know. Don't we know? Let the choir bear witness against.
Here's the thing, because since Anaya and Menelik are becoming one, I would impress it upon y'all to
put some pressure on
put some pressure on Anaya, because she got his ear more often than we do. So, pull in that coach check y'all got. Put a coach Anaya in that coach check. No, I got faith in y'all to get it together.
Lily, y'all keep these children in prayer. She said, "Don't throw sis to the wolves like that." You're right, and she's so
we're not throwing to the wolves. pulling you in,
I know her little cheeks red. She probably like, oh my goodness.
pulling you into a family embrace. Mashpika. Family.
Anaya is not in the coaching chat. So whoever, but I know somebody know how to add people to the coaching chat. Like everybody, who all not in the coaching chat? Just Anaya?
You make it two of those? Make it two of them? All
You
right.
you already used one or two. Yeah, he always want what I got. He always want my stuff.
All right, family. Always a blessing. Oh, no, that's what I was going to say.
Because Gilead created it, so I think she has to add. Okay.
Not necessarily, maybe. I guess it depends on like if you got iPhones and Androids. But the other thing I was going to say is to put some pressure on somebody else. Indigo also said she was going to do a calendar
Yes.
that would already have the dates marked out. That would also be for, and I hate to do this on the Shabbat. So we'll mention another time, but would also be purchased through GGP, Girls Garden Publications. So
Already
look for
done.
that as well. We got a photographer here that said he was going to do a calendar as well. So I don't know if they're going to tag team
That
or if
makes
they're
sense.
talking about two separate calendars, but seeing in there,
Indigo. They said Indigo need to be a part of the Coty chat since she came to the Coty brunch. Are you a part of the Coty chat? She said she don't think so. She don't
There you
know.
go.
She don't think so.
there you go. Fellas, where I chat at?
Indigo said she didn't even know it was a Coty
She
chat.
said she's slightly offended. No, I'm saying that. We need an IQ
Look,
brunch.
Noah said we need to have an Aki brunch first. She said we didn't even have an Aki brunch.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna do that.
Okay, it's like 4 y'all.
I got 5 of my own.
Yeah, that's not fair because y'all came to our Coty brunch.
They did.
Y'all enjoyed y'all meal at that
Yeah,
Coty brunch.
Sure did.
Okay, well,
Sure did.
we're gonna have a. I don't know. We're gonna.
Coty, let's say when was the Coty brunch? It was at the it was during the booths during Sukkot. One of those days we was there. We did like a Coty brunch and we cooked food and stuff. It was so good. I think that was the best meal day. We all like, and then we had some mimosas.
I do want to do something with the fellas though, not just my sons. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Um,
I've been with you. I know.
Because I think that I'm going back to the conversation we had earlier about us holding each other accountable. My sons on one hand, and that's why I said we're going to do the manhood series. But I know brothers that are looking for help and fellowship. And I think that some separate something may provide a little bit more relaxed atmosphere for the ox to be a little more vocal, maybe. I don't know, y'all make them nervous or something. I don't know. We can't get the ox to come to the mic too often. All these strong female personalities.
We don't have no problem. Coach here saying Tasha.
Y'all messy.
Gamora. Look.
Rib.
What's your name? Kimmy?
No, I'm partially joking, but no, still, there's listen with the coaching chat. I think the beautiful thing about that is y'all can talk about things that just deal with their coaches. Y'all can talk about the ox. You can talk about your sons. You can talk about your husbands. You know, there's a scripture that says older women are supposed to help the younger women. Thank you. In the same way as our king, in addition to us leaning on each other, we also, I think, could show a unified front for our children, for our sons, you know, and helping direct them. But also, you know, we may need to lean on each other. I got ox that call me individually. Yeah, and I'm sure call each other individually. Some of us I know talk to each other as well, but if we come together and have communication, I think that could be beneficial as well.
You know, Aki Dawid always trip up as soon as she gets to talking about a woman's place. He's like, yeah, silent. Keep them silent. That's right.
Our sergeant at arms.
I know, boy.
Let me get him back in order.
That's it. Let's get him in line, dog. That's right. Aki Dawid always.
Yeah. All right, family. We're going to sign on off. Told out for joining us. We love you guys. It's always a blessing. Y'all want to read anything? Nobody. We just doing it. Y'all didn't know. Like I say, we're pretty lighthearted for the most part. Till it's time. But we'll see y'all next time. Shabbat shalom. Have the rest of the day. God bless.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Upon his goodness, because we are guided by the Ruach Kodesh. Yes, whenever I get dressed, yes, I'm dripping Kodesh fresh.